Welcome, everyone, to another episode of MiCannaCast. I'm Cannadave.
And I'm Groovee.
On this episode, we got our good buddy back on, Drew.
What's going on? I appreciate you guys
Yo.
having me out.
This is he's been on a couple episodes with us talking about online businesses in cannabis, talking about his company Waxxin. We just had him on at the beginning of this year with our buddy JP, and we were talking about licensees and the Michigan market. Now it's been about almost a year later, and Drew's been in the cannabis market here recreationally, I believe, and
Certainly
learning and growing in it. So we wanted to have him on and talk about outdoor, indoor growing and just some tips and stuff. So
anything you get, industry, his perspective and stuff.
Certainly. Yeah, I've been
so welcome back.
Appreciate you having me on again. I always look forward to being on the show. I've been doing I started with Cannabis-Aid doing cannabis events at the business-to-business side, as we talked on the previous episode about a year and a half ago, but we have no longer been doing events with the current atmosphere, and we have switched over to professional services, being post-harvest and pre-harvest services, trimming, bucking, de-leafing, helping with watering, IPM solutions, you name it. We've been helping out at a couple facilities here in Michigan, state licensed facilities. So it's been an interesting ride moving from events and then now going over to actually growing of all the cannabis, right?
Right.
Which I've also personally been doing too. So it's been quite a fun experience. I did 12 plants this year. This being one of them. I believe it's the animal mints.
Which you're legally allowed to do, anybody in the state
right
of
now.
Michigan, because of the recreational marijuana, which is very cool to see. So
Absolutely.
was
yeah.
this an outdoor grow? So did you crop in Croptober?
Yeah. And it was very busy working at a facility, which I was only able to do because I'm a contractor. If I was employed at a facility, then I would not be allowed to actually have my own grow and work there per state regulations. So
That's cool.
So it's been a fun ride. I got over the course of doing all the events and the expo and stuff. I went to Hemp Expo in Lansing, iHemp.
How was that?
Shout out to Dave over there. That was great. I look forward to the next one whenever we're allowed to do events again. But I met this gentleman.
Weird times right now, man.
Hell yeah. I met this gentleman. He gave me these seeds that were hemp crossed with cannabis. It was the Boac strain crossed with Chemdog OG.
Can we see that? I'm gonna put that on camera because I've never seen something like this. So can you explain this? Why I'm pointing this up on camera? Because this is so fascinating to me. We tried a little bit earlier, so just rather you explain it. Look at this.
Yeah, it's hemp. That's the cola, the top cola. You see some buds taking off because we
smoked it up before.
rolled up a fatty earlier. We should have showed you guys the whole beautiful piece.
Still a little wet.
Yeah, and it looks a little dark because all the leaves turned purple. It was a 9-foot tall purple hemp cannabis plant, and it had some very unique terpenes on it.
Yeah, it was very. I just never smelled something like it. You said so. Okay, so it was Chemdog females that got
Chemdog OG
females that got pollinated by a hemp field that this hemp goes by the name of Boax.
Boax, correct? Yes.
Boax, got it.
Boax. Yeah, like the Lorax and
Boax. Okay. Yeah. Dr. Seuss. Yeah, that was my shit. Hey man, someone's gotta care.
Hey,
I got a Lorax shirt.
If you smoke weed and you don't know the Lorax,
if you caught us on our live stream,
how do you not know Dr. Seuss? Man?
You got it. If you've seen us on the live streams, I have a Lorax shirt. I've worn it, I think, on the live streams.
I've seen a few of them. Man,
God, I love it.
Actually, a greater majority of them.
Well, we appreciate you always tuning into those live streams.
So, but Dave, the whole thing that started this whole episode and what got us, I wanted to know, in your harvest, so what do you do specifically when you are harvesting your plants? Because I've learned some things this year in regards to on a commercial level as well as
like
on
what's right, what's wrong.
Not right or wrong.
Okay.
it wasn't right or wrong for the individual or for
Right,
the grow
okay.
or the scenario. There's things you can't do on a commercial scale that you can do on a personal scale. But so Dave, you run a caregiver grow. What are some processes that you use in your harvesting? How do you harvest your plants, and what does it look like when you go to dry them and then to cure them? Like, you're looking at the plant alive. What do you do before you cut it, and then while you cut it and after you cut it?
It depends on how big the plant is. If you can do full plant, I'll try to hang it full plant. Cut it and just hang the full plant. Or what I've done, if it's a little bit too bigger, then cut it in the middle and hang different branches. Cut off some of the fan leaves for so there's not so much the fan leaves covering the buds for the moisture. I don't want the buds to get covered or anything, especially if it's high humidity. Depending on Michigan.
But you leave the some fan leaves.
Yeah, I do leave some on.
But
Then,
you cut the branches up. You don't leave it whole. You said you.
it depends. It depends on how big it depends. I'm limited in space, so I got to do what works for my space. So I've done branches. If the plant's too big, if it's gotten too big, or if the stalk's too big, then I'll just do it in smaller branches. But I'll do like the main middle half on one, and then the other bigger branches on the side. And I'll take off, like I said, some of the fan leaves. I do like the tobacco process dry. I let it dry for 10 to 14 days.
10 to 14 days, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. I mean, if the humidity, I've done I like around 10 to be honest, but yeah.
That's a little longer than I prefer.
Yeah, I mean, each their own. I find I get a good
then
still
again,
cured bud.
But see, when you're curing your bud, isn't that when the flavor really comes out? When you rush it, isn't that when you get that really like unflavorful, earthy-ish like plant tasting bud?
Well, and
Also
so
depends
not
on your
always,
environment.
I guess
'Cause
I'm
if
blanking.
your environment, if it dries too quick or anything, you could get that different. Was it?
Or not
I've done it myself, where I've dried it too quick, and it's like a hay taste, hay smell, or something like that.
Sure. Well, and that's one of the reasons why I asked what harvesting looks like for him. There's a big difference in the time that it takes your plant to dry out if you have a whole plant hanging.
Yep.
If you have your fan leaves still attached, those things are gonna make it take longer to dry. You're gonna easily go 10 days if it's a whole plant that's hanging. Like those leaves aren't gonna be able to snap off. Like to tell like when your plant is ready to be bucked, like the buds are ready to be broken off the branches. Literally, when you bend the branch, it should snap.
Yep.
If it bends, that plant still needs to hang longer.
Yeah, a lot of people still trim it though when it's bending too, because the outside bud is still a little bit dry. People have done that.
Oh, definitely. Well, I find it easier to wait a little bit longer to break those leaves off. Like
It's easy,
having a bending leaf, trying to take that off when it's semi-wilted is not fun.
If you when you can snap it, trimming is just such an easy process. It's peaceful. It's enjoyable. I enjoy it. I don't know, especially the hard work at the ending, especially the product that you've created, that you've taken from seed or clone and grown it to that beautiful bud.
Yeah, that's the feeling right there.
It is. It is.
So, do you trim all yours at once, or do you keep it in a bin while you're curing before you go through the whole batch?
I trim, go in jars.
Cool. Yeah, for the hemp, I ended up with quite a bit of it. So
It really had a unique taste, that hemp stuff. Like, did it grow very similar to cannabis, or did it grow different because of all the hemp influence? I'm curious only because
It looked similar to cannabis, if you don't mind me saying.
Right.
I mean, I saw it. I mean, it was a beast. The bitch
That's
was a
what
monster.
I mean. It
Yeah.
looked. Oh, you saw the plant.
Yeah,
I was out in the cold.
it was a 9-foot tall plant.
Yeah.
It turned 9 feet tall,
Well,
and in Michigan,
It just had such like a plain taste, but I've had CBD bud that tasted like straight trash. So that at least to me, I would rather smoke something like that. So that has just. I mean, you have obviously hasn't tested, but does
that
that
one
have
hasn't been
cannabinoids
cured
in
at
it?
all. That one hasn't
Does
been
that have
cured at all.
cannabinoids in it? Like a lot of cannabinoids?
Well,
do you
like
know?
he said, though, he just took this off right before
I
he
just
came
cut
by.
that
though,
one off
too,
the
so
Right,
it's
branch.
you're
still
right.
ready
Smell
for
this
us.
one.
But like,
Smell this.
either-
So, what do you think about the animal mints right now?
That's what we're smoking.
It doesn't. It
Yeah.
has more of a cheesier smell, but I don't get that cheesier taste. I get more of an animal mint taste, which is
Interesting, right?
yeah.
It's good.
I like it.
Tight.
I think I might like that a little bit more than over the wedding cake, though. I'm not sure.
See,
though.
so what? You know, like, is the curing is the white ash in the cure truly? Because people always ask us, and I'm not sure because like I see your ash is a little on the grayer side, and I like lighter ash. Now, does that mean he needs to cure longer? What is that like? What
people say it's about flushing. Some people say they disagree with
I'm
flushing.
sorry,
I
not
don't know.
curing,
Everyone's
flushing.
got their own opinions on how they
How long
flush
do you
and
flush?
cure.
Do you flush? As an outdoor grower, indoor grower, do you flush?
There's really no such thing as flushing outdoors. I mean,
Yeah,
like, I do run
Okay,
water
that makes-
to my
okay, I guess
plants,
that makes
like
sense.
without nutrients for at least a week.
Okay.
Oh, so that's good.
But there's not like
Like
such thing as flushing, really. Like, what
You
do
can't run
what do
water through your-
You can run water through it, but what are you really flushing? Like, you're in a bunch of soil still. You're all in the soil.
Right,
The
okay,
water
you're
doesn't
saying if
run
it's
off
planted in the
anywhere.
ground.
It
Oh,
could-
so you're going root it right into the ground. See, I've heard people still doing pots outside.
I have some in pots. These
Oh,
ones,
that's
Sure,
I don't
you
know.
could do maybe in the pots. Like the one, his was straight in soil. So I remember seeing that. So I remember what you're saying. Yeah, you really couldn't with that because you just
I was wrong
the
to
roots
see
are
me
just
the way- yeah,
going
this
and
does
going
look
and
like-
going.
Yeah.
You're not really running off much with that.
yeah. Well, they were 5 feet by 5 foot pots that were dug down an additional maybe 6 feet. You know,
This is
because
the
They
game-
were-
this is
they
the-
were-
this
they
is
were
the
big
hybrid,
monsters,
right?
man.
This
So
is the hybrid.
there,
right
there
here?
weren't like independent pots, but it was brand new amended type soil.
And see, that's what's
And
sweet
it
about
worked very well.
cannabis being recreational adult use in Michigan and having it where you can grow your 12 plants. You can grow it indoor, outdoor. And
This
be
is
able to
so
And
interesting.
be able to experience it. That's very cool.
It's like airy, almost a little more airy,
Yeah, they grew very.
but it's almost
vertical.
got like a mint. Almost reminds me of like when I walk into a spa. Like it's so calming, like a lavender. That's it. It's like almost a lavender type of smell.
Hey, I'll take it. Yeah, the boa. We should have looked it up so we knew the information. But the Boac strain has a unique terpene that isn't found in many cannabis plants currently.
Yeah, and it's very unique. So I'll look it up. I mean, thankfully, I'm not buying my machine, but I got phones. We got the technology.
Right.
Even though my phone's been acting up, so. But Boax.
Sticky bud, man.
Boax
crazy.
Thank you.
came right up. It's a high CBD strain, so that's really awesome. So when we smoked that earlier,
Correct.
I'm probably going to have to get some off.
So we'll have to
of
try
you.
this
I'll
one
have to
then.
get some off.
The cured one.
Should we roast them up now?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
I'm about to spark up some rainbow chips. So Groovee, I'll break this up.
Now this is heavy on the terps, though. This is where we're kind of going in the opposites. This is heaven see. This rainbow chip exotic genetics is one of my favorite strains.
Well, grown indoors under LED. It should
Well,
be.
yeah, but I mean, of course you can control the environment, but I'm talking about just the flavor profile. I'm saying it's really unique and I love it. That's
Oh yeah, the rainbow chip. Yeah, I agree.
It's a really unique one. Wow. It's a union between the popular indica strain Hindu Kush and the ironic hybrid Otto 2. The former named after the 500 stretch of mountain range between Afghan and Pakistan expresses a thick, earthly sandwood flavor that calms the body and relaxes senses. Thick, earthy sandalwood. Remember if that's when remember I said walk into a spa relaxing. I wonder if sandalwood.
That is probably what
I
you're
mean,
thinking.
I don't know. I thought lavender. I'm not like I said. That's something I don't know. I couldn't like smell an incense and be like, or an incense.
I should probably wait before we
smell
smoke.
an incense. Jesus,
I'm
whoa,
gonna let that
I
slide.
didn't smell. I don't smell no incense, but I'm. Whatever. Anyhow.
Groovee. Whoa.
It's a 1-to-1, by the way. So I'm just gonna swig a hard switch back to this. It's a 1-to-1, one CBD to
Perfect.
THC. So it's actually pretty high in that. So
Which would make
that's
sense why it's
interesting.
such a sticky bud and it's
But
got a nice.
it makes sense that it looks like cannabis.
You
Because
should get that tested. You should get that tested.
I need to get it tested.
Do you have
I'm
a clone
curious.
of that? Maybe
I
off the record.
have one clone that is
Hold on, I'm gonna mute the button,
super
so I'm just gonna-
tiny, and we'll see if she survives, because it wasn't taken well care of, but it is now being taken care of well.
All right.
So
It's a plant. It's a
and
weed. I think
I
we
have one half seed from the original batch, so maybe we can pop it. So there is hope.
people,
hope.
people, keep your fingers crossed.
There's
Okay.
hope.
We're gonna stay tuned and ask him this question in a couple of weeks, following months, I should say.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see. We'll see if.
I'm enjoying the animal mint though. It's got a flavor on it. It's good, man.
Thank you.
Shit.
Like I said, I'm wondering. It's a little harsh on the ending, like going into the bottom third, but that's where I always say, like sometimes when you don't have that white ash, it tends to have more resin and it starts to get harsher. That's it.
Well, I also thought resin though on the bud could also be good stuff though too.
No, I mean, dude,
Like
tasting
the,
it
like
still
when it's got
tastes
that
good.
oil
That's what
ring around
I'm
there,
just saying.
you know?
It's got. I just noticed that when you try. You ever think about that when you're smoking the whiter ashes? Sometimes you don't get heavier resin from the whiter ash. I don't know if that correlation.
No, I feel you. I feel you. That makes sense. No, I got you on that.
That's all, man.
No, that makes complete sense. Yeah, but going back to the growing question, I would definitely let it hang dry longer if you're doing the hang dry for sure. That's just what I like to do personally.
Well, and I experimented with that this year, and that's why I asked the question.
And what'd you find?
I had 2 wedding cake plants grown in the same pot. They were the same size when I acquired the teens from my friend. And one I had cropped early. I wouldn't say early. I cropped first, and then I waited a week and a half, and I cropped the other one. So the first plant that I had cropped, I cut it up into branches, and I also de-leafed it before hanging it. So there were longer branches, so I just cut the branches to length all the way to the bottom of the stalk. So they're single branches. Maybe there's some offshoots, but mainly the single branches. And that dried in like 7 days. It was like 6-7 days. It was dried and ready. The buds were ready to break off those branches to take into, to buck them into buckets or jars to start curing. But I noticed that the plant that I let go for a week and a half and I hung whole with all the leaves on had way more terps. And that's the wedding cake that I brought today. They're both good. They both came out good, but one's great in my opinion, and the other one is just good. Like they both smell all right, but the other.
And that's by keeping all the fan leaves and everything on it. And I think didn't mean to cut you off, Drew, but I think it's like that makes sense to me, and I think that's why people do that, because you lose so much of that water weight, and like you're gonna lose a lot of the terps in the drying process. But with the leaves on it, it takes it a lot longer to dry, a lot slower. So with the slower process, you're keeping it intact, those terps and some of those the THC as well too.
Oh, I appreciate this.
That kind of makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, because I know you're gonna lose a lot. That's
You're
why
keeping it together.
That's why a lot of people do the fresh frozen and stuff too for extractions, because you got all
right
everything.
there. It's still there. Everything's still technically quote unquote alive.
And that's why I do the trichomes are still alive. The heads are up. They're still active because you just killed it. Jeez. Just chopped the plant.
Killing it.
Killing it. I wish I had a sample. Just like.
But I prefer that. I prefer it to be called. I think it's called the tobacco dry, and that's the way I like to do it. The slower cure, the slower dry. The only time it sucks though here in Michigan is when if you don't got a sealed room is when it's so hot and humid.
What's your relative humidity and temperature at?
Try to go 60-60 all dark.
60-60. Isn't that a little high on the relative humidity?
I mean, when I
got fans blowing too, so
that's interesting.
Fans are blowing though, not at the buds, because you don't want to dry out the buds.
Right.
I just have it as a little lower circulation, just to keep a little breeze in there.
So you notice?
Well, I mean, humidity can get pretty high in those things. So it's like, aren't you just trying to control it? I mean, if you keep it always at the same humidity, doesn't plant need a little bit of humidity? From just like when you're watering it, it's going to get humidity.
We're talking in his dry room. Sorry, we may have jumped without saying that.
That's a valid question, because we do get beginner questions like that where they might lose train of thought. We had someone just ask us about Gorilla Glue recently.
Yeah, this was interesting. You'd like this, Drew. Like, tell him about this. So, an old friend, mutual friend of ours. Really, I met him through Dave, but we all played baseball when we were like kids. Yeah. So I asked him a question.
Asked this question about Gorilla Glue, and he's like, "That's not actual. Like, what are you guys actually tasting? That's not actually tasting like glue, is it?" He's like, "What do you guys mean when you mean glue?" And that's when I had to explain like the terpenes and the taste.
Reminds you of a glue, which actually is like that earthy, skunky taste, but we're not tasting glue, we're tasting glue.
Yeah, like
genetics.
Petroleum, you know.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're not tasting like Elmer's over here. We're freaking tasting Gorilla Glue genetics, or like Elmer's glue, which again, damn it, there's an Elmer's glue, super glue. Damn it,
right.
all these are
all
named off of glue, but it doesn't really taste like glue. I mean, you know that gassy, skunky.
It tastes like glue, but not like glue, right?
Right. Yeah.
No,
it does. So no, that's good. We're talking about the humidity and drying. Yeah, the humidity and dry you do want lower. I mean, maybe I could try to get it 50. Sometimes it's hard. I've found for me something like that around that maybe 55, 60 degrees. But
Have you ever had mold issues going that long, 14 days? In Michigan, the humidity is just
it depends
so
on time of year.
fucking
So
high.
sometimes I'll have to try to
Excuse my
speed
French.
dry it. Sometimes I'll have to try to speed dry it. Yeah. So I've ran into issues like that. It's with the weather. I mean, when you have a whole facility, when you're in a commercial grow, you can probably tune it in a lot better, and it's kind of a little bit more difficult. So
Right.
Well, I don't know about it. I was talking more from a personal end than a commercial end. Like one of the things I find interesting that is different in a commercial facility than like a personal grow, or even like a smaller scale commercial facility. Everything has to be so scheduled because there's manufacturing processes involved. Like sometimes a plant needs to go a couple extra days, and it wants more like I said at the very beginning. Like my plant that went a week and a half longer, the same exact pot, same exact position, just a week and a half longer, developed a easy 20 to 30% more terpene profile, more flavor profile, like more potency. Like I feel it more on as like a headband feeling with the plant that went a week and a half longer. But if you're commercially growing and you have a bottom line and you have revenue projections that you have to meet, and there's so many of them that have to happen in a year, you have to crop so many times. An additional delay of a week or two is not okay. Like you're gonna have to crop that plant. It's not so. You have to understand your genetics better. You have to really look at your operation and say, hey, is this plant going to be ready in our projected amount of time? Like, is the accountant going to be okay for the amount of time that this is going to have to take? Is that question being asked in your organization?
Gotcha.
You know, like, because if you're waiting to the end and like your grower's like, no, this has to wait longer. Your CFO is not going to be too happy, because then it's going to take longer than to get to revenue, and it just adds that
and I think
additional
that's where
level of risk. Like
that makes sense. I mean, if you rush product and certain things, though, you might reflect the quality and then the end product for the consumer too, which kind of could be bad too. So I don't know. Depends. I mean, you don't want to rush stuff.
Yeah.
At least you got to make sure you do know your genetics and all your timelines and tee it up perfectly. But you always should have contingency plans for certain things that could happen.
Redundancy for everything, honestly, these days.
So,
yeah,
You know?
well, yeah, because you just mentioned drying on a commercial level. Sometimes some plants will be more dry, sometimes others will be less dry, and you just have to create processes that allow you to adjust on the fly, like using large cure buckets.
How was it being how was it? Like, I mean, obviously, you have your own grow or whatever. You know, that's your own personal thing you can control beginning to end. How was it working on a commercial grow? Like, these giant, like, I mean, how many plants was it? I mean, do you mind? I mean, about how many plants? I mean, you don't got to give names or anything about, because you don't want to give any confidentiality or whatever things. But I'm just kind of curious about the amount of, like, plants you were dealing with. Just kind of like the daily, like, what it looked like. Because, I mean, this is happening everywhere. These grow-ups are popping up everywhere around Michigan. You know?
It depends on the facility that we work at.
Right, so you're moved around, but got you.
On average, the facilities that we have been to so far, they've ranged from one facility didn't even show us the grow rooms, but there are from 200 to 600 plants per room is on average how many that we're seeing.
Wow.
There's going to be some other facilities that have smaller. But we've only really worked with large-scale facilities so far, like Class C licensees, and one was a Class B licensee. That's a 1,000
really cool.
plant count or 1,500
Yeah,
plant
it's really
count.
cool.
it's sweet that you're getting the industry experience and all that cultivation experience.
Yeah,
It's gonna be helpful for you.
Yeah, it's fun, man. I've thoroughly enjoyed it, and it's hard work. Like it's indoor farming. That's a lot of heavy stuff you have to pick up and put down and move around, and you have to think smart and on your feet. Show up on time.
Yeah.
That's one that I've been working on. But it's a very rewarding job to see like the plants come through. Like we were just weighing out a bunch of doing packaging, and then there's so many challenges and so many different parts of getting cannabis to the dispensary or even to your front door.
You guys done with it?
Just like at the filter. Those filters are pretty big. Those raw filters.
Oh yeah.
Shout out Raw. Hit
Yeah,
us
right.
up. Hit us up in the DMs
Ad sponsors, we do them all.
at MiCannaCast.
Yep.
At Gmail.
Hit us up. Please do it. And then follow us if you're listening and hit the subscribe button too.
And send these guys a grinder too, please.
Hey.
Hey, I still have
You know
one.
what? I got a bunch
actually,
of those little ones.
Actually, I had someone say they're going to bring me a grinder one day. You know, that's why I was like waiting. I still have the same one.
I think he's
Shit.
referring to
Who
Drew.
said that? Who said that?
I don't know if it was give me, but it said
It was
bring me. And then,
It was me. It was me. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
I have the exact same one, but mine's in worse condition.
I know. What? I guess I'm a bad friend.
It's gotten worse since probably last time you were over.
Yeah, I apologize. We'll get that fixed. We'll get that fixed now, especially, but we'll get it fixed before this episode airs.
Whoa, challenge accepted.
All right, let's air it Wednesday.
That's funny.
But what Wednesday?
That's funny. So are you rolling up the
Yeah, the
hemp
other
and-
hemp that's been cured, because the one that we smoked didn't have a ton of flavor, but I smoked some at home and it did.
I'm excited to try it because
We're gonna go with
we don't get much of it.
the number
Yeah,
three.
we shall
The
see.
number
huh?
3.
Yeah, it's cool, man. It's exciting to see you growing and doing that. It's really cool. I love
and it's
growing.
interesting as
finding that
as
passion that
times
you
have
like.
really changed a lot here in 2020. You are seeing people go to the cannabis industry because it's something steady. It's something right now, even in these times, has stayed steady and has grown.
It's been deemed
It has
essential
done
during
nothing but
COVID-19,
grown.
and it's only going to stay essential.
but think about it,
and with the
people-
5 states that legalized it, it's only going to stay
People are losing.
essential.
Well, I'm just giving a shout out to people
Almost
that
$1 billion industry in Michigan this year alone.
not even a shout out.
Who
That's what I'm
called that
saying.
Groovee? Who was calling that back earlier in the year? That it would happen.
Probably him, because that's what he's saying.
I know, and Groovee can't even give me like a thank you. Jesus,
What is that?
wow,
Wah, wah, wah.
that's messed up,
I
guys.
missed one of the.
Hey Dave,
Without
Dave,
even
Dave when he
Detroit.
asked for praise.
Yeah, I know, pretty much. Thank you, guys. Thank you. All of you guys are.
Yeah, I love you guys too, man.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go home.
Anywho,
Before the joint.
No,
he's
I'll
right,
smoke the
Billy.
joint
But
and
my
then
whole
I'll
point,
leave.
hold on, no, all bullshit aside, no, but listen,
just won't
no,
speak.
listen, no, all bullshit aside, I'm serious. Like, people that are dealing with all this economic stuff that's going on with COVID, this is something where people are being able to come to. You
If
know,
you
look
li-
at
if
Drew.
you live
Drew
it-
is
if-
so thankful to be in this industry right now because it's thriving and he's doing all right. You know, but that's what I'm saying. This industry has been able to take things where it's taking a lot of other markets, but this one's growing. So if you're dealing with one of your industries crashing, this might be something to consider.
Like healthcare.
Yeah.
Like what? This
say
might be
that
something to
just
go
we
into.
I don't mean to pick on any one specific industry.
Just healthcare.
We just have.
He's like,
we,
fuck healthcare.
no, I don't mean to do it
I
like
mean, I'm
that.
just
That's
kidding.
why I'm. That's
He
why I'm.
still,
That's
like,
why I'm.
wants
That's why I'm.
doctors
That's
are
why I'm
like-
reeling. No, we just have a couple of people from the healthcare industry that have been furloughed that are able to then gain employment with us. And if you live in the Warren, Michigan area and you're looking for employment, hit us up at Cannabis-Aid. We have some janitor positions, which it's really just like cleaning some grow trays constantly, which isn't bad. It's just water.
Yeah, just mention MiCannaCast. They know who we are.
Yeah, mention MiCannaCast. Hit us up on Facebook, Cannabis-Aid, or MiCannaCast, and reach out to Dave. Dave will be able to put you in touch. But yeah, we're looking for help.
Hands-on industry knowledge,
Bomb.
first hands-on, like really good stuff. I'm excited to see the product hit the stores. So
And you'll be able to work with Cannadave too, because he's gonna come help out a couple days.
Oh.
that is true.
He was mentioning, look, now he's actually putting it live on camera.
That is true.
Dave.
And we're gonna bring Groovee on a day too, because we're gonna make it a MiCannaCast thing.
There you go. My Cannacast day at work.
But yeah, no, I would love to because I think it'd be great, great experience, and being with other fellow growers in a room would be awesome. So
Oh
Yeah, creative mind, man. Or the
And
collective
I
mind,
think-
excuse me.
I want Groovy to go too, get some more knowledge. He don't want to. I'll go.
Can I bring
So-
my sax?
He's afraid of hard work. Like
No,
physical
I'll
stuff
come mess with-
anymore.
I'm afraid. I'm afraid of hard work.
Ever
Oh,
since
man,
he's
you don't know
become
where I
like this
came from.
audio professional, and
Right.
he's like,
Man,
"Yo,
you
I
met
have a-
Paul?
I have,
You
a-
met
I
Paul?
have a degree now, and
Pretty much.
I have been elevated in." No, I
You
I,
met Ball.
I-
You know
I-
I've worked.
Groovy is a very talented audio production specialist, and I give him a hard time.
He's
Look
lying.
at this setup
He
that
don't
he's
even
got
like me.
going on. So
He
I
doesn't
just
even
shout
like
out to Groovy, and he is a very
My
hard
new
worker.
baby.
He-
This is my baby right
he
here. I
does all
love
the
this. This is a new
construction
little
stuff,
toy.
so-
I'm enjoying this.
As a friend, I tend to
Aw.
jab. So shout out to Groovy.
Shout out to Groovy, and shout out to this again. I gotta give it a shout out. I know we did last
I love
episode,
so many
but
shout outs.
This road podcaster.
we always love doing shout outs. That's just what we love doing sometimes.
Shout
you know?
out, shouting out all these shout outs.
Especially because we haven't had a guest on in a little bit since last time was Bloom.
Well, we've
couple
got a
episodes ago,
bunch in the
so.
works. We've got a bunch of conversations, but right now with all the switch of dealing with Woodward Sports, as you've been seeing us mess around with,
Tell us a little bit about that.
well, Woodward Sports dudes, we're getting more and more involved with them as like obviously we're kind of like putting things slowly out there as things grow because they haven't even officially launched yet. But we're gonna start doing some of our other type of reviews that aren't cannabis or dab related in that studio, and hopefully some of our businesses, some of our legal legit businesses heads, and some of like people representing a business. That type of stuff we're trying to set up more in the professional studio sense where we can still have. Now we have a really nice mobile setup. We can do call-ins. We've got a bunch of stuff in the works. It's just
Yeah,
like
call-ins would be
sometimes
exciting.
it's like we don't want to announce everything at once because then it's like a little bit more you can chew off or bite off more than you can chew, whatever. So yeah, but no, Woodward Sports dudes.
They're gonna be like a podcast network. They're gonna be
Bunch of different
sports, but they're also gonna be like a podcast network with a bunch of podcasts, which we're actually gonna be on their network. They're gonna be featuring our podcast, MiCannaCast.
If you go to the
and
site, you'll see us.
we're gonna be on the site. They're pitching
are.
like, we are already. They're gonna be pitching us as like Michigan's CannaCast. So, and that's what we've been trying to go for. You know, a voice in the industry, trying to advocate people, educate around cannabis, and let people learn about it, and everything. So we want to be that voice for the
Nice.
cannabis industry here in Michigan. And then also, once we start traveling, we want to compare it all to the Michigan market. And that's the sign up for MiCannaCast. But they want us on there. It's a privilege to be part of it, and I'm looking forward to seeing it grow. I mean, like Groovy said, they haven't even launched like their official first show yet. So
Yeah, Big Sean gave me a shout out.
yeah,
Shit.
yeah.
Shout out Big Sean.
Yeah, it's crazy. This shit is so cool.
Well, yeah. So we'll see. Hopefully, good things are popping off. So,
Yo.
hit this.
But anyways, yeah. What else are you thinking, man? You were talking about like, so anything from indoor to outdoor, like any big differences? Because the indoor facility is obviously much different than the outdoor. You're controlling the environment rather than just
Weather and bugs.
Nature's got your back.
No matter where you grow, you have to be open to a level of education and like don't have like a knee-jerk reaction to any scenario that you're going to be in. But also treat your scenarios quickly because there are some that will devastate your crop.
Yeah, because you were talking about
overnight.
P&M a lot. P&M.
PM.
PM, powdery
Mildew.
mildew in Michigan. It's rampant, and we have some very
sense of.
potent strains of it. And there's so there's a variety of ways that you can treat powdery mildew. I started with using milk to form a lactobacillus. I'm probably murdering the name of the bacteria.
Sounded good.
But
Sounded right.
Yeah, it sounds right. That's what I was going for. Hopefully, it is the correct bacteria, but it's abbreviated as labs. And it can be.
It's got a unique taste, man.
Used in
I like
a
it.
variety of ways. Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it?
Is that the Chemo G
Yeah,
Boax
they
still?
tell you it reminds me of
Just
some
a
type
different
of-
pheno, right? Or is it the same pheno?
Yeah, no, it'll be a different pheno. This is
Different pheno.
This was in the garden that I forgot to fence in. Not that I forgot. I
This one was on
I
the
planted
outside.
my stuff before I put it all around. Yeah.
No, he has a sweet fence. Like you did some nice work, man. That was a good setup. I'm excited to see next year.
Yeah, it's fully compliant. So it took a lot of work to get it to be. I may have started it before it was compliant, but it's there. It's the code if you want to come check it out. I'm not going to tell you where it's at, but it is. So it's
Sorry, go ahead.
no, point being, so
Jeremy
that,
just lost his controller. He's just like, she's not throwing in sounds anytime. No.
I guess I was just thinking about the placement of the plant. So point being, yes, different phenome.
I got nothing.
It was quite interesting though. So like when I popped the seeds, there was like 3 distinct different phenomes. I had, I don't know, 10 of the hemp plants growing at first. A few of them were male, so I called those, and then a few of them were looking a little bit weak, so I just planted the good ones. But it was
Did you
very
get a cutting of this one? Or is this the one that's the one that was?
I did get a cutting of this one.
Okay.
Yes.
Nice.
This was the same phenotype that was as the 9-foot plant, but this wasn't 9 foot. 5 was the 9 foot. This is 3, but same phenome.
Nice. Good shit, dude. Got to keep those ones.
Well,
I like that.
similar. I guess it's not actually the same.
Interesting.
Well, if either 3 and 5, if they're different seeds, they'd be different phenoms.
Right, yeah.
Correct.
That's what I'm saying. It
Technically,
was
yeah.
different, but they
Came from the same
were
mother.
very
Same.
similar in the way they developed, the way they looked, the way
Well,
they
that's good.
smelled, and everything. Because there was a large difference between 4 and 5.
Do you mind?
What was the difference?
It? Yeah.
Just the way that they grew. Like one was more Christmas tree like, where it wanted to spew branches off and have the buds popping up along the ends of those branches. And then number 4 was more a thick main stalk with a few other stalks, but those stalks, including the main stalk, had buds popping up right along the main cola and along those stalks. So instead of being like Christmas tree like, where it has lots of branches sticking off the main stem, this only has a few thicker branches off the stem, but those branches they're lined with buds. So like when you held it up, it's like this bud stick.
Nice.
Instead of like acorns hanging off of a tree, which would then represent the other buds.
Got you.
So it was quite interesting, and it also had a different smell. One turned purple, and the other one didn't.
Yeah. Very different plants.
Yeah, so we have a cutting of 5.
And that was this one. That was the first one. That was the one we showed you guys on camera.
Yeah,
I
and
believe.
it just hasn't been cured yet. But
I'm excited. Yeah, I'm excited for that to be
It
fully
was
cured.
very unique, man. I
'Cause it
really
still had
never
its-
smoked something quite like it because, like, I've had the CBD hemp stuff, and I've never had something that was like a legit
I'm
hybrid.
just like squeezing you.
I have a
It's fun
friend.
to have a ton of it.
I have a friend that legit would take some of this CBD hemp stuff and then mix it with cannabis joints. Like, just take half and half and mix them.
Yeah.
Like spliff it style, but with that CBD stuff. And it's very interesting that now there's plants genetically with that. It's a nice, cool little thing, man.
Definitely.
Especially if you're looking for the high CBD stuff. This is very calming stuff. At the end of the day.
Well, it interacts with the THC, if I'm not mistaken.
Well,
I dig it.
I don't know if it
Cannabinoids.
interacts. I think what happens is THC and CBD both interact with the CB1 and CB2 receptors in your body, in your nervous system. So they bind to that same receptor. So when it's that receptor is being used for CBD, it's not being used for THC. The biggest difference being one is psychoactive, one is not. So that's what they say it's a sobering effect. Well, it's really not. It's just your receptors are being used by CBD versus being used by psychoactive THC.
Right, so you're not feeling high, though, from the psychoactive part, though, with CBD.
Yeah, when CBD's on those receptors, correct. That is correct.
Thank you, Drew.
But that's not to say that because we don't actually know if they interact. I don't know yet. If they have, please let us know in the comments. I apologize. I got this like beam of light in my
Actually,
face.
yeah, I know. You just must have just appeared. I mean, you can move. If you need to move, that stand is all wireless. You are mobile.
Yeah, I can just move over. I've been dealing with it.
Yeah, you can move the whole stand here. Now he's not so loud. You can move the stand. I muted you.
Oh, nice.
So, okay.
Yeah, that
man,
like
go
came out
ahead.
of nowhere. We were gonna be live, but we're not live. But if you are seeing the video, let us know in the comments when the
Yeah.
video's released.
Yeah, whatever platform you're on.
YouTube or Facebook will be live.
Sorry if that plant's hitting you with the ear.
It's itching. Is it this one? This one. This one is itching.
It's fine. Oh man, yeah, but that stuff honestly, like I said, I wouldn't mind having some of that for like maybe when I'm feeling super high anxiety. Maybe like that stuff's very interesting.
No, I think that's like perfect. Maybe if you want to like anytime.
Oh, all right. Hold on, Kilo. Well, so
What's up,
that's
Kilo?
my dog. That's my dog. Cam.
And
He's decided to join the party.
He
Lay down.
might be smoking a doobie.
Lay down, Kilo.
Cause look at on camera, the doobie is.
Oh, there he is. All right, well, Kilo's joining us for the end of this podcast. He's decided, apparently.
That is awesome.
Oh.
Oh,
All right, buddy. All right, anywho, so hemp plant, you guys want to discuss anything more about what you were curious? Because I know, Drew, you had a lot of questions, and you wanted to discuss some things, so.
Yeah, well, I was mainly interested in the hemp drying. Hemp. I keep saying hemp. I'm old.
Because that's how great.
Well, honestly, it's pretty cool to me. Because I was mind blown. I've never even heard of cannabis crossed with hemp. Like,
Neither had I. The guy, he showed up and we were just going to get lunch, and he's like, "I got these seeds, man. Do you want some?"
Yeah,
Well,
please.
tell me all about it. Like, what kind? Like, and he handed me just a little container. He was just gifting them out to people at the conference.
Look at it,
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Because he's like, people are gonna want this, man. So
I think it's nice. I mean, that's perfect for like a beginning of the daytime smoke where you're not gonna get so knocked. Like for a smoker that wants to smoke but doesn't want to get like knocked out, like you're not gonna get too stoned
That's
from
actually a
that.
good
But it's like
point,
very
yeah.
level, clear. Maybe if you want to quit
I
cigarettes,
think you
or
get a
something.
little hazy. I think there's a little bit of like that cannabis psychoactive effects, but it's not strong. Well, that's why I said I was curious about getting it tested because I wonder
Maybe
if
it's
it's
like
a
a
super
small
low
buzz.
THC percentages and then higher CBD percentages. Yeah, he's loving you. He hasn't seen you in a while.
Yeah, I think that'd be perfect. Like smoke right in the morning. Like get your day started with that. That'd be sweet. Or even nighttime to like level out, go at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. No, it's chill. I dig it.
It's not gonna be like knock you out heavy at all. That's what I like. That's really cool. Should get it tested.
I'm happy that it has terps.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it does.
that's the biggest thing is like, what do you call it?
I don't have a name for it.
Is it weed? Sort of. Is it hemp?
If you ask the cops,
Sort
it's
of.
weed.
Oh, is hemp literally more illegal than hemp? Right?
Well, the legal definition of hemp is if it's under 0.3% THC. If you feel high, it has more than that.
It's
Yeah.
cannabis. So technically, okay, so it's cannabis. All right, got you. Well, that's good to know.
Yep.
Good to know. It's still weed. It still counts. It's not hemp.
I'm trying to think of a name for it. Sorry.
Oh, I was like, he's whispering something.
Let's see.
I
I had a couple. What's it?
Bojack OG.
Yeah.
Well, I was talking about what do you call
Something
hemp
like
that's
that.
mixed with cannabis, like canna hemp?
Yeah, but you don't call it like that. You
Well,
gotta
it's just
come up
really
with a name. You
cannabis
have to
then,
know-
honestly.
you have to
The
understand
genetics, the
fucking
actual,
genetics.
yeah. I'm just
Yeah.
obviously I'm not the one naming it, Drew. I'm just saying. You know,
Canna
you're
Hemp.
like,
Hey,
Canna Hemp.
brought to you by Canna Hemp.
Hemp abyss.
Bodog OG.
Bodog.
Bodog OG.
Just Bodog. That was a poker site.
Bodog. I could dig it.
Yeah, Bodog.
Bodog, no shit. I didn't know that.
Chemdog OG. Boax.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Chemax.
I don't know. Now we're reaching.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
reaching for
funny.
the stars.
Yep.
Well, is that anything else, man? That's about all I got, really. Yeah. You got
Any
anything
other
else,
questions,
Drucefer?
dude?
AKA Scooched. If you game, if you game
check
at all,
out
check.
my live stream. You just got me excited over here. I didn't
Yeah,
have
no.
anything to
We
talk
let's
about. I-
give the
I-
plug because
I-
Scooch, man.
I
If you game, man, you're into
Scooch.
gaming. They
Yeah.
were Cannadave and Scooch were gaming last
Yeah,
night.
I forget to mention live streaming is awesome, and I play video
Yeah,
games
Facebook.
online and on Facebook Gaming. So facebook.com/Scooshed. That's SKOOSH 3D.
Yeah.
And we were playing Warzone live pretty much every weekend.
Yeah, check Cannadave sometimes.
I'll have some weekday streams going as well. But we do some. We'll be playing some other games as well. I'm looking forward to some Cyberpunk 2077 that comes out.
Heard it got delayed again. I heard it got
did
delayed
get
again.
delayed
Yeah.
again, and that's a little bit of upsetting. But it's so. You know what's exciting is the fact that the cannabis community is so into gaming. I can talk about my game stream and it's relevant over here.
Oh, I love games.
Oh, I mean, what goes better than smoking a joint and just chilling for like 8 hours?
It's literally what I did. That's
Some
literally what
people
we did
do it
last
just
night.
when you're gaming.
On
Sometimes get in
Warzone.
the zone.
Hell yeah! So yeah, give us a
Shout out, we get almost first place. in
We get
quads.
almost first
good.
place. Hear that? Almost.
It wasn't quite first place.
No.
We had some
You're
teammates.
gonna get that dub. You'll get that
some
dub.
teammates that wanted to run off by themselves and stuff, but
Amateur.
that happens, dude.
Scoosh, scoosh, scoosh.
Exactly, and that's how I came up with the name. But yeah, give us a follow, and also, so when's the next episode? So we don't know
Wednesdays
when,
at
we don't know.
4:20. Every Wednesdays at 4:20.
4:20.
Every Wednesday at 4:20.
And then what? Yeah, the Terp Talk.
Yeah,
Terp Talk Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Yeah. Oh,
on
sorry,
Tuesdays.
stealing all the
Go.
answers, yeah.
Let it out.
2 p.m.
Go down
at
it.
9 p.m. we doing the live stream thing. Sooner or later we'll be working the phone thing system into it, so you can actually come join and talk about your terps live. But for now, that's what we have. But
Are you guys
and then
planning-
Saturday morning 9 a.m. too.
Do you plan to do any events? I don't know if
Not
this
yet.
Is, this is
Not
a, this
right
is a
now. We
would like to,
conversation
yeah.
happen,
Not right now. Not right now. We're not personally throwing any events right now. I mean, like honestly.
Oh, we're not throwing. What are you
I thought
saying
that's what you were
throwing?
referring to.
Do you mean
Well-
by what do you mean by
Well,
events? Do you
I
mean by
so
going
you-
to an
you-
event?
You could say throwing, but what is having like a meetup? Is that throwing an event? Like if you and your fans all go play laser tag, is that considered you throwing an event?
I feel like we're hosting it. Yeah.
Okay.
Right? Hosting an event. I mean, we're not really hosting anything officially right now, especially because we're doing a lot of things on the back end. But it's like realistically, we're in today's climate with where we're at, liability is just not worth it right now. Like right now with where we're at. I mean, especially putting money behind an event right now with where we're at. It just doesn't even seem to make sense with where we're at as a business.
Yeah, I don't know about hosting an event. I mean,
You know what I
going
mean?
to an event.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go
Or
to
heck, being
I'll
guest
go
if
to
someone
like
wants us at
we
an
went to a
event.
grand opening.
You guys are wild.
Well-
I'm just trying to get you and all your fans to come play laser tag with me, man.
Oh.
Like, it's not going to cost you guys a bunch of money.
I'm
It's
just saying.
$30
I just
a
think
person.
I don't think we would officially host
'Cause
anything
you have
on
to go-
MiCannaCast. I just think we'd be like, hey,
Like-
we're gonna go play laser tag. Come meet with us, and that would just be it.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I'm saying, bro.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. in November.
I'm not saying like, oh, you have to like.
I wasn't trying. I don't
Do
know. I
things.
didn't understand like putting cannabis at an event. I thought you were trying to like throw an event with laser tag and then we smoke weed. and,
like meet
it's
up.
a whole thing. You know,
can maybe
like,
smoke weed in the parking lot by yourself, but not sanctioned by us.
I would never.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
Can I put?
Because
the
that would
tickets?
be
No,
that would be illegal.
Yeah,
Because you would be in public. So actually, that's not advised.
do not do it.
I don't know. I got nothing really. Nothing. I do have a scary.
Whoa.
That's all I got.
I love it. I love it. But yeah, man, Drew, I appreciate you coming back on again,
Yeah.
talking a little bit
Oh, yeah.
about some harvesting questions, getting some insight in commercial grow, outdoor
Yeah.
grow, wealth of
Yeah.
knowledge. Keeps getting better and better every time we get you on. So we always love you having you on, man. Having you come
I
on.
appreciate being on. I look forward to expanding my indoor growing knowledge on a personal level. I know a lot about it on a commercial scale, but going down and my own personal grow, I think it would make a cool episode in the future on how to set up a grow tent properly in terms of airflow and dynamics.
Actually,
of
really
that.
good content for people like that don't know a lot about it. Yeah,
We would definitely be interested
Definitely.
if you want to do some content like that.
we do some live videos and stuff. What?
Certainly, yeah.
Soy-
You know, I don't
soy-
even have a grow tent yet, but I just learned about airflow. I know that you have all your stuff set up as well,
Fans,
so we'll have to throw down and get some content for the people.
Get some content for the
I
people.
might have an extra tent.
For the people, you got an extra tent. Oh, I hear something.
Going
I hear
offline.
something fucking happening.
Stay tuned, everybody. Stay tuned, everybody.
All right, well, at that, I appreciate everyone tuning in. I'm going to sign off for my MiCannaCast. Remember to advocate, educate, and inspire. MiCannaCast
line.
signing out. This is Drew Pokoi from Waxxin. Make sure MiCannaCast.com. Visit us. Give us a follow.
check them out. Yep, check them out.
Have a good
Scoosh,
night.
too.
Man, thank you, man. I don't even have anything else to say after that. I mean,
Honestly, we'll just call it a good.
that was awesome.
All
right.
right.
Peace out.
Peace out, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Peace.
Peace.